What's up, everyone? It's the Autistic Scyther here, and this is part 2 of Top 10 Favorite Shiny Pokémon. Alright, for those that are wondering where part 1 is, it's up on my channel now, so I suggest you see that video first to see numbers 10 through 7, then come back for the remaining entries. Granted, if you're wondering why it's so dark, this is I'm basically filming this the day before, or this is supposed to go up because of a certain career event, so yeah, that's why. So, yeah. Without further ado, let's get back into it. Moving on next at number 6, we have Psyduck. Well, there's one thing in this world that's always true. You never forget your first. In this case, you never forget your first shiny, which, surprisingly enough, this Psyduck was technically my first shiny in a place when I was playing through Pokemon X. And this is like during a random playthrough of the game. And basically, when I first saw this, I was let's just say I was speechless. Because I was not expecting to get a shiny Psyduck. And yeah. In fact, I was so incredulous at this fact that I had to check to see whether this was real. And oh man, it was. And that being said, it really does say a lot. Naturally, really going even further once you realize that Psyduck and Golduck in certain aspects they seem to have the wrong sort of color, with Psyduck basically being the yellow one, but even though it's called Psyduck, and Golduck being blue while it's just basically yellow. So in my head, I was thinking, and I basically was excited to see what I believe to be a Psyduck with the right colors, even though it was shiny. And I thought I would essentially level it up to get a shiny Golduck that was basically gold. Only to be disappointed when I realized it was just a darker blue with a bit of red accents. Yeah. Let's just say I was thoroughly disappointed. Granted, at least in Generation 9, I ended up getting another shiny Psyduck, and that's during my Pokemon Scarlet surprise trade Nuzlocke. And again, I was not expecting it. And, I mean, heck, I have to say, glad I got it before Giacomo got at it. Just saying. Moving on next at number 5, we have Low-Kicks. Speaking of Paldea, honestly, when it comes down to it, Paldean Pokemon actually have some interesting shinies. I mean, granted, let's just be fair to say, Paldea's shinies are not all the best when you think about it, as certain shinies kind of seem a little lackluster. Or, to an extent, you tend to get them a little too early. Seriously, I got 2 shiny Lechonk, and basically I just found myself wondering if this is just a coincidence. However, one Pokemon that I was very much saw as my favorite is Lokix. I mean, first off, it's Bug Dark. This is a type that I wanted for a good amount of time. Of course, I also wanted it to be based on a cockroach, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, surprisingly enough, I was willing to more or less use Lokix in my first playthrough, and it was pretty awesome to say the least. I mean, heck, even further, I may very well play through Pokemon Violet using the DLC as Tina from Thracia 776, with her having a Lokix on her team as well. And for those Fire Emblem fans that out there that know about Thracia 776, they know this is kind of an interesting development, as Tina is not the biggest fan of insects, thanks to Pern. Anyway, all Fire Emblem trivia aside, I never expected I would get a shiny Lokix, let alone 2. Yeah, I ended up getting 2 shiny Lokix in my Scarlet and Violet Professor Oak's challenge when I was playing through Pokemon Scarlet. And both times, the first time I was more or less surprised, while the second I was just, really? Another one? Honestly, I really couldn't believe it, and kinda says a lot now. I mean, also the fact that it's a yellow, also the fact that it's now goes from a green, like a blackish green color, a dark black color with red eyes, to like a yellow color with red eyes, kind of makes it look like it's gone from Kamen Rider to Power Rangers. And keep in mind, I have not watched all Power Rangers series, so there's that. Moving on next, at number 4, we have Tinkaton. Yeah. Honestly, in all fairness, speaking of Paldean Pokemon that kinda wowed me at first glance, let's just say the Tinkatink line is just, I can see why it's become such a fan favorite. I mean, first off, let's talk about, baby Tinkatink is just an adorable kid wielding a steel rattle. And honestly, the anime actually shows Tinkatink quite nicely, as seeing her just wanting to work towards making an amazing hammer so it can evolve really does say a lot. And even though I have yet to see the episode, honestly, there's a part of me that wants to take that Bombardier, wring its scrawny little birdie neck, and drown it in barbecue sauce. I ain't kidding. That bird gon' get its feathers shaved off. For making baby Tinkatink cry. That being said, when Tinkatuff and Tinkaton come into play, yeah. Honestly, it's very fair to say I was shocked about about the length they go to make their hammer so impressive. And that's not anything new, but yeah. Tinkatuff just basically flat out chop shops groups of Pawniard and Bisharp to make their hammer, whereas Tinkatun serves as a flat-out menace to Corviknight by knocking them out of the sky with rocks, to the point that Corviknight aren't used for taxi services in Paldea like they are in Galar. Which kind of makes me scared about what would happen if it was introduced in Galar. And it goes even further once you realize in Pokemon Pokopia, we were introduced to Tinkmaster, who is basically just the Pokemon answer of Sandy Cheeks. Yeah. Seriously, I mean, first time you see her just basically being blown back out of a workshop by an explosion, it just brings to mind that scene where Sandy just goes, "Did somebody go boom?" That's hilarious. But all that disguise, you're possibly wondering about the shiny, and, well, their shinies don't change. However, honestly, as it turns out, for those that already don't know, one of the few Pokemon I actually like is Komala's shiny. Because basically, if you hadn't guessed, the log that acts like its pillow changes to look like a Gumtree log, whereas Komala just stays the same. This is the same case with Tinkaton. Well, every member of the Tinkatink line. But Tinkaton especially, because its hammer goes from a solid silvery pink hammer to a more rusty brown. And it's just so adds to the intimidation factor that makes it seem like it's not going to be stopped in its efforts to add more metal to its hammer. Just like it'll give something tetanus in order to get the metal it needs. Yeah. Just give the hammer gremlin what it wants and just try and stay away from the rusty mallet it wields. Yeah. This will be continued in part 3.